Hi, this is Jean Bonds with the Teachable Spirit. Today, I'm going to share with you 10 ways to overcome the number one public fear, the fear of speaking in public. People fear speaking in public more than death. Imagine. And I am so excited to bring to you these 10 ways to overcome the fear of speaking in public. Tip number 1. Start by speaking in front of small groups. It can be 2 people, or it can be 5 people. You can try speaking in front of your family or in front of your animals. Get used to standing up and speaking in front of a small group of people before you tackle a larger audience. Tip number 2. Start by talking about something you love, something that you're passionate about, something that you're familiar with, something that you do even if you don't get paid for it. This will really help you to be able to overcome the fear of talking to people because it's something that you enjoy. Tip number 3. Wear something that you enjoy wearing. Dress up for the occasion. Put on makeup. Have your nails done if you like those kinds of things. And if you don't, wear the kind of clothes that you would love being in, that you feel comfortable in, but still fit the occasion. Tip number 4, know your audience. Find out what kind of people you're going to be speaking to. What are their ages? What are their interests? Will they be interested in the topic that you've chosen? Those kinds of things will go a long way in being able to connect with your audience, to know their background and what kinds of things that they enjoy. Tip number 5, be prepared. Now, by this I mean, do your research. Know what it is that your subject matter is about. Put together a PowerPoint if that's what you like to do, or make notes on a piece of paper. If that's not available to you, you can always handwrite. But be prepared in being able to get up in front of your audience and have all of the things that you need. If it's a show and tell kind of a situation, then you want to bring objects to be able to show to your audience. Tip number 6, practice, practice, practice. Now, this can involve writing the whole entire thing out and reading it over and over again. Or you can try using an outline and working with an outline. Or you can just work with your PowerPoint and simply go from that to create your speech. Try all 3. Use what works best for you. I have done it all, and I think that in the beginning, you might want to try writing the whole thing out. With that, you will be able to know exactly how long it's going to take you to go through your speech, and you'll be prepared. And that is actually a really good subpoint of this one, which is know the amount of time that you've been given to do your speech. Nobody likes to have a speaker go on and on past the time that they have been allotted. And on the other hand, if you make it short and then people want more information, then you can have a question and answer session, and that will help extend the time. So either way, but play with the practice part of it so that you can find the method that works for you. Number 7 tip is a fun one, and that is you will not be interrupted from your speaking. When you get up to speak, no one is going to stop you, and you have the floor, and now you get to say everything that you've always wanted to say. So bear that in mind when you get up to speak. You are the expert. You are the one in the room who is giving the information out at that time. And no one else gets to stop you from continuing. That is one of the most valuable tips, in my opinion, I have really enjoyed over the years is being able to be the one who gets up to say what I have to say and not be interrupted. Tip number 8, fake it till you make it. Just know that even if you were to spend 9 months rehearsing for this speech that you're going to give, when you get up to do it, it will not be perfect. And that's what it means to do something live. You are going to make mistakes. As a teacher, I discovered that especially when I got up to talk about math, I would make errors on the board. I could talk and I could write, but I couldn't necessarily get all those components correctly all at the same time. And my students would catch me, which was great, I discovered, because it meant they were paying attention, and it meant that they were getting the information more valuable than if I told them correctly how to do it. So I got over it about making mistakes, and I got over trying to do it right and just allowed it to be what it was. And that actually is the truth, whether you're doing a performance or whether you're playing the piano or whatever the case might be, that the people in the audience don't know what your mistake is a lot of times. Sometimes they do. In either case, you just got to fake it and just go with it and let it roll off of you. Tip number 9. Think with the end result in mind, Stephen Covey said in his book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Now, what do I mean by that? Okay, how do you want your audience to feel when you're finished with your speech? What do you want them to take away? What call to action do you have for them? Consider all of those things as you're preparing, as you're practicing, as you're putting together your speech, and embed that into the emotion and the intention of your work so that you are not thinking about how afraid you are, but you're thinking about what the audience is going to gain. What's in it for them, right? That is what they want to take away. So think of that intentionally as you're creating your speech. Tip number 10. If you're really serious about getting over your fear of public speaking, then get professional assistance. I believe learning occurs best when an individual is allowed to discover for themselves as they experience opportunities presented to them with a guide to navigate through the obstacles and barriers that they face that arise in the process of learning. I call this an encounter, and the style of learning, I believe, makes the most progress and transformation in an individual's life. I host and facilitate a 12-week encounter in which you will be guided through the process of overcoming those inner obstacles and barriers that cause you to have fears when it comes to public speaking, and in articulating and communicating anything of your heart's desire about the things that you love and want to share in your world. That, I believe, would be the best way for you to overcome this fear of public speaking, as well as many other fears that you may have in your life that you might not even be aware of. And I am the guide in that process of what I call the HeartScape Journey, and would love to collaborate with you in working through 12 weeks where we come together with other members of the encounter group. So we share ideas and talk about discoveries that are being made, and it would be extremely valuable to you to overcome those barriers and obstacles in your life to the things that you desire to do. 10 tips to overcoming your fear of public speaking. In summary, number 1, start with a small audience. Number 2, talk about something that you love and enjoy. or that you're familiar with. Number 3, wear what you love, what you feel good in, what makes you happy. Number 4, know your audience. Number 5, be prepared with PowerPoint or objects that you want to show. Number 6, practice, practice, practice. Number 7, you have the floor. You are the one speaking. No one gets to interrupt you. Number 8, fake it till you make it. Number 9, think of the end result in mind. What is it that you want to leave your audience with? What's in it for them? And number 10, get professional assistance. And by that, specifically, I mean, let's work together and be involved in my encounter group, in which we have other members on Zoom and we meet weekly and we discover together the barriers and obstacles that are keeping you from being able to articulate on stage as well as in your own family, the things that you really want to share and that are on your heart. This is Jean Bonds with the Teachable Spirit, and I am delighted to share these tips and tricks with you today that will allow you to overcome your fear of public speaking.